All right. Okay, guys. So thank you for jumping onto this webinar. I am super excited about talking with Chris about his ManyChat bot. For some of you, you might remember Chris and I had done a webinar. How long ago was that, Chris, would you say?
It's probably been about 6 months or so.
Okay, so for the last 6 months, I've been utilizing Chris's tools to generate a massive audience in ManyChat. And we're going to talk about how I'm utilizing that inside of all the other systems I'm using. But I selfishly wanted to have Chris, because it's going to benefit you guys. So after 6 months, I want Chris to look at my ManyChat. And I just want him to talk to me about what he sees, good, bad, ugly, for a few minutes, because he knows what he's doing. And then I'm going to tell you guys how I'm taking the stuff inside of ManyChat and moving it into all my other follow-up systems. Chris, do you want to kind of just like if I was to call you and be like, man, can you look at my stuff? Let me know what you see, good or bad, and just kind of talk about it a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. The first thing I would look at is the conversation and then ask you, are you fielding the conversation or is somebody else doing it?
Somebody else is doing it.
Once somebody comes in, like how soon are they following up with them? Humanizing the conversation?
I mean, I would say, and somebody just asked, it's not ManyChat, it's Many, M-A-N-Y, ManyChat. It's a Facebook Messenger tool. Yeah, there you go. So it typically is really fast. It's not always really fast because it is being manned by humans, both myself, because it's my Facebook business page, and one of my ISAs, who really just works all the time. I don't ask him to, but he just does. So yeah, that's the first thing.
Okay. Well, man, how long does it take you to kind of humanize that conversation? Because some people will go for that follow-up sequence and some people won't. Like a lot of people, that's still new to them. And if you don't talk to them, they don't talk to you. And they're just kind of confused. Because at the point when they came in, you don't really know what they were doing, but you can get back to them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say as far as the follow-up sequence goes, so we're running an ad, right? Pictures of properties, or, and then they click for more information, they go right into Facebook Messenger. Mm-hmm. And candidly, because over half of my market is made up of millennials, I would say a good portion of the people that opt in through Messenger go through the flow. I mean, they go through, they answer, what price range, how many bedrooms and bath. Where the conversation tends to tip off for most of them is when we ask for their email or phone number or what have you. And that's when we start to really try to humanize the conversation.
So what I've found is most people they feel safer behind Messenger. So it's kind of like asking for an email or phone number. Unless you got a really good reason, they're not giving it to you. So like once you've kind of got that conversation going and you know what they're looking for, you can kind of say, hey, I put together this list of homes. When's a good time to review it? That kind of gives you that opportunity to connect outside of Messenger. And that's kind of the best way to lead out of that. The reason asking for email, that's the only way we've got it set up. It's still old school. We don't have it integrated in the Messenger yet. So a lot of people understand that and they're cool with that. Like once you've kind of sent that out, it's primed to come back, a couple hours later and say, cool, I sent that over. Want to make sure you got it. When's a good time to review it? I got a couple different check boxes I can change and get a whole different set of results. I like to do use Loom. It's a free tool for Chrome for the browser. It records. It's called Loom. It's use Loom.
Oh yeah.
Yep. It records your screen and it records you, so you can show them what you're talking about. And then it puts a picture with the words versus leaving it for them to understand, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. So what I'm hearing from you is to be able to really capitalize on these people that are starting the conversation, instead of going into a lead ad, right, where they're basically giving me their contact information. they're starting with having a conversation inside of Facebook Messenger. And so, you know, and what we're seeing here is you emphasizing, almost like somebody texted in and said, can you tell me more about 123 Smith Street? In the same way we would respond to that text message, we should be using Facebook Messenger in a similar fashion. Is that a good oversimplification?
Absolutely.
All right. So I'm gonna share my ManyChat screen just so that because there's a couple of people that are asking what ManyChat is.
Okay.
And Chris, would it be safe to say that if I was to hire you, which I have, to help me with my Facebook Messenger, Facebook ads, that ManyChat is the vehicle that automates some of the conversation? Would that be a good way of putting it?
Absolutely. ManyChat is for Messenger what your email autoresponder does for email.
Okay.
So ManyChat enables us to automate conversations from your Facebook business page. Right. Whether they come in through your Facebook page, they come in through an ad, they come in through a link, they come in through Instagram, they can come in several different channels. Like we have the first responder on your website, and basically that's a chat on your website that's bringing them into this. So there's so many different ways to get them into it.
Yeah, so let me share that with everybody what he's talking about. And let me just tell you, so this is my Ylopo website. Don't write down the domain and register. You won't like me very much because we'll call you a lot. So I've done webinars where I show my personal website and then people start, you know, registering. So this is what he's talking about. So I have Facebook Messenger on my website. And Chris, do you want to just talk about that a little bit, how you had that set up?
Yeah, basically, I've automated that conversation for your website. It pops up and it says, hey, how can we help you buy a home or sell a home? And if you go for buy a home, we're basically taking the information that you give us and we're going to build that search result and spit them back into your website. So what that does is that frees you up as an agent, whether you be a solo agent or a team. It frees you up, starts that conversation, gives them what they were looking for. If that's not what they're looking for, they just chat in there what they're looking for. You know, they'll say, hey, I'm another agent. I'm interested in, you know, scheduling the showing for this property. Can we do that? So right. you may see other agents come through there. You may see, you know, website visitors come through there. The key when they come through there is to go check your system and see if they're already in your system. So you have something to talk about. You can say, hey, I see you haven't looked at anything in the last 3 months. What's got you looking now?
Right, right. And so you guys see me kind of just guessing through, and you see where the bot summarizes the confirmation. And this is where Chris is saying, you know, sometimes people get kind of squirrely with asking for the email address. Right. And if I recall correctly, if they don't respond to this after a while, isn't there some kind of follow-up prompt that automatically goes back and says, hey, you know, I forgot how they do it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yes and no. So right here, it just dies if they don't reply. But if they reply with no thanks or like smiley face or thumbs up, I'm not really validating that email address. I'm just trying to get it. So if you give it a thumbs up, it's still going to progress and say, cool, no need to wait on me and give me those search results, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
So you can give it a thumbs up.
Okay, give it a thumbs up.
Yep. And then you'll get that search result.
Great, no need to wait. You can begin your window shopping now. Click the button below to review current homes available that meet your criteria. So then you click it, and then it loads a search based on what the person is looking for. And so you can see 100 to 300, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and then it loads. And so, like, what an incredible resource to drive people into my search site. And of course, you know, they click on a listing or two, they start going through, and eventually, let's see, we can go to the next listing. they're going to ask, oh, I'm already logged in. So eventually it's going to prompt me to register, but I'm already logged in because of my cookies. But it looks like we've got some questions. So let's stop for a second. Is ManyChat available to anyone who has a business Facebook page free of charge, or is it another service provided outside of Facebook? So how do you set up this automatic Facebook Messenger chat response? Chris.
So ManyChat, they have two different versions. Like everything, they do have a free version. It's very limited what you can do with it, or they have a paid version that starts at $10 a month. The $10 a month will give you like 500 subscribers, and then it's like anything else. The more subscribers you get, it goes up in price. The subscriber is anybody that sends you a message. As soon as they send you a message, they become a subscriber. So technically, you could broadcast back out to a masses a message like Merry Christmas or something like that with a sponsored message later in time. You're basically building an audience of all these people that have showed interest.
Yeah, so I've got 2,200. So I'm averaging 50 people a week that are opting in over the last 6 months. And, it's pretty incredible because, these are people, I see their Facebook profile. Actually, I guess I stopped sharing my screen. So let me.
Yeah, let's dig into that.
What's that?
So let's dig into like what that looks like. So technically, you do all this through your inbox, your page inbox. Once it's set up, you don't really mess with ManyChat too much. ManyChat's more like the setup. So it's like under the hood. Once under the hood's good to go, you just go over into your inbox and fill them.
Yeah, the business page, and I have it on my phone. So like if I go to the Pages app on my phone, I'm able to see all of these conversations. Like, man, so many.
If you click on Growth Tools over there on the left, you can see like the different properties that we sent to. But if you scroll down to the bottom where it says the first responder for Wailopo, you can see that over like 133,000 people have been on your website, or impressions, page loads. And out of that, 1,597 have started a conversation with you just through that chat on your website.
That is incredible.
So you're getting massive traffic to your website. I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, if no one is there to see it, they're not going to chat to it. You know what I mean?
Right. Absolutely. So you guys see these numbers right here. 1,597 people have been directed to opting in to, use my website. And the number of impressions is 133,000. So that's a lot from some ads that direct people to, start a conversation with me. Yes, ManyChat is a service outside of Facebook, and it's basically a tool that helps you manage conversations in Facebook Messenger.
Yes.
That's what it is. And Chris is an expert. He's like, I'm going to oversimplify it, a consultant for Facebook Messenger advertising, Facebook Messenger automation. And so his skill set is helping people generate this business. And is it still true? Because 6 months ago, you said that generally speaking, people are not using Facebook Messenger as the opt-in for ads. And so because of that, it was cheaper on Facebook because nobody else was really doing it. Would you say that's still true today?
It's still true, but it is rising a little bit. People are adopting it, but not at the rate that they are other things. So what that means is it's super cheap medium to get you in now and take advantage of it while you can. I mean, it's not going to go up to like $7 a message or something like you would do with like a lead form.
Right.
But I have seen it as high as like $350.
Okay. So something that I did, and I don't know if you want to speak to this, but I was just kind of playing around with it one day, and this was early on. This was back in September. I did a mass Facebook message. And I think I said, are you looking for a good deal? Yeah, there you go. And I said, I found a few homes that have been foreclosed on. You can use special FHA financing to buy the home and have it renovated before you move in. Let me know what you think. And then it's just a link to my search site. And you can see I sent it to 391 people, and 337 of them actually opened the message. 86% open rate. You can't get that with email.
The reason you got 0% on your clicks is because there's not a button there, so it's not tracking a link within the text there. But I would imagine you would have got a decent click-through rate if they were looking for the foreclosure. But this has changed a little bit since we last chatted. Now this is called a sponsored message because they don't want Messenger to turn into email and people just start ignoring it. So yeah, paid messages. It's a similar setup, but it's just like paying for a text message. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the idea would be, and so this is where the button you were talking about, right? Like what kind of button? Open a website?
Correct.
Okay. So to me, guys, like I know that some of you are probably like, oh my gosh, super overwhelmed. I don't know how to do any of this. Really what I think you should be getting from this conversation, and the reason why I wanted, see, look at this. Look at these people 3 minutes ago giving me their phone number. Anyway, long and short of it is, you shouldn't be thinking when you're looking at this, okay, I got to memorize how to do this. I think my opinion, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, this should really expose you to some new possibilities and start to investigate how to implement them in your business. Do you think that would be a good way of looking at it?
Yeah, absolutely. Messenger is more of a direct way to get to that end result of the conversation. After you figure out what they're actually looking for, then you can plug it back into your other systems and kind of help you follow up with if they're 3 months out or if they need help with this or that. You know what I mean? Messenger is ultimately the fastest way to that conversation.
Okay. All right. So unless you have something else that you want to talk about with that particular side of the business, which is ManyChat, I was thinking of transitioning to some of the things I'm doing to try to monetize on some of these conversations.
Yeah.
Quickly, do you want to try to walk me through so I'm using Zapier. If you're not familiar with that, what that is, it's zapier.com. It's basically like a great way to connect different services. And so when I was talking to Chris about all these new leads that he was generating for me, I said, I want to get them in my CRM. And he said, just go ahead and use Zapier. And so I connected my ManyChat account to Zapier, and Zapier was connected to my CRM. And so the result was a specific kind of lead that was being generated would automatically go into my CRM. And I don't remember off the top of my head, how did you tell me what to look for again?
We've got it looking for if it has an email or a phone number. So basically it's looking to see if that field's updated. So if you scroll up and click on audience, and then just pick one of those people, you can click on them. You can see we've got these custom fields down here. So if you click show all, you can see the custom fields. And if it has an email field or if it has a phone number field, then it's doing the zap. So like that person does not have it. But if you close that out, we can do a filter and find, if you do filter and do condition and do say phone, type in phone, because now there's two types of phone fields. Since we last chatted, ManyChat's kind of tried to become omnipresent in a way. So now it will send text and email, but it doesn't let people reply back to you. So I haven't really jumped on board there. We want the custom user field. Phone. Yep.
This one?
Yes. So all of these people, if you click off, you got it. All of these people right here. No, I'm sorry, we did it wrong. Click on it again. We want has a value. So has any value. So we've got 18 people with that phone field. So if we click on Rebecca, nobody call Rebecca. I just want to show you these other fields. Whenever that email field or the phone field gets updated, that's when it's going to zap over to Barry's CRM.
Yeah, because it's looking for that phone number.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you want to think of ManyChat as a filter because you don't want to put these people somewhere they don't want to be, until you've actually had that conversation with them and understand what they're looking for.
And then, once you've found these 18 people, there's all kinds of, bulk actions you can do. The export PSID, that's exporting the contact. Right?
Well, it's exporting the Facebook ID, so you can create a retargeting audience. That's the manual way of doing it. They have like a real-time way of doing it now, like within the flow, the conversation flow. You can dynamically update an audience based on what they do. So
when I initially started using these tools and capturing all these people, what I decided to do was my CRM, if the contact does not have a phone number, the CRM I'm using is FirePoint for this particular service. And so, oops, wait a second.
And maybe one of those other emails that, like that custom field looks like it got messed up.
That's probably because I was trying to.
So maybe one of those two, yeah. It looked like it duplicated it. Nope. I'll go in and clean that up for you in a little bit. Has any value? There you go.
All right, so, and then 105 email addresses. And so if I don't have the phone number and the email, my CRM, the way the Zapier connection for FirePoint works, it won't automatically import it. And so don't, cover your ears, Chris. I had my ISA manually pull about 60 contacts out of ManyChat. And what I did was, FirePoint's really big on ponds. It's basically like a folder that you can like export stuff, and you can give certain agents access to different folders within the CRM. And so what you can see, I've got a bunch of them, and you can see here where I've got a ManyChat pond. And what I started to do was import them into my CRM. And then everybody knows, I'm a Ylopo fanboy and work for them, and scaling all of my teams off of them. And so what I decided to do was import them into Ylopo for remarketing. And you might say, well, why do you do that? Well, because I want them on my ecosystem. I want them using my platform, and and you can see where we're dripping on them. They're re-engaging. The 28th, they triggered a priority alert. And so, for me, that's what we've been doing. We're basically taking as many contacts as possible. So when you look at my database, I've got
all the different sources coming in.
Oh yeah. And my database, so I run 3 teams now, and this particular team has 70,000, just under 70,000 contacts. So you can see here, 69,365. I went all in on database management and remarketing with Ylopo, and the result is 40 to 50 times a day, people do significant actions on my website, and it's because I'm just funneling them in. And so for me, I'm using the ManyChat tool that Chris has helped me utilize to basically build my database. These are 2,000 people that had some significant intent, and so I'm learning how to use like the broadcasting tool, and you see I didn't have the paid messenger set up, and now I do, and so now I've got to learn how to do this. and try to drive traffic back to my website. That could probably be a third webinar, to be honest with you, Chris, because I think that's where the magic starts to happen, is you're collecting all these contacts, and you don't have to have Ylopo, you don't have to have FirePoint, you know, but you do need a way to bring a bunch of people in and then stay relevant to them. And my whole theory is go deep with the contacts you have, but also go wide and find as many contacts as you can. So, and then from there, my team is really looking for behavior. We're looking for behaviors that indicate some kind of interest. And so for us, we train our agents with these kinds of conversations that ManyChat is providing us through your service, Chris, which, by the way, what's the name of the service again?
BookMeSolid.com.
Yep. So BookMeSolid.com is actually the service where that's Chris's consultant business. And you have a wide array of products, right? I'm going to put that. You didn't ask me to do this, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyway.
Oh, man.
BookMeSolid.com. And you have like different services you offer at different price tiers, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's basically two different kinds of conversations you can have. You can have that warm conversation where they're on your website or your Facebook page trying to reach out to you. And that's more of like a secretary, like an assistant building back, you know, what we saw there. And then I have the listing bot, and the listing bot's going out to a cold audience, starting a conversation with a listing. It's basically like one fishing with a house.
Right, right. So for us, we anticipate every single person we talk to. So they've come to us because of a behavior of some kind. And every single time we talk to them, we expect for that person to tell us why they don't need us. And generally speaking, you know, we all want to catch that top of funnel business because it's cheaper. You can scale off of it. Instead of getting one lead for $150, you can get 150 leads for $150. And so we all want that cost per lead, but then we all complain, oh, these leads are junk. I call them and they say, oh, I'm just looking, I'm not serious, I'm just browsing. And it's generally because they don't know what they want yet. And because they don't know what they want, they don't think that they need us. And so they're going to tell us they don't need us somehow, a number of different ways, but they're going to say, I don't need you right now. And so what we do is we validate the fact that they don't need us. So for example, I like to use extreme examples. If we reach out to the person and we say, hey, thanks for, shooting us that message about the home on 123 Smith Street. Have you been looking for a home long? And they say, no, I'm not going to buy a home. I'm waiting for aliens to visit my backyard. And once they visit, then I'll be ready to buy. Okay, well, so first of all, that's a really weird reason not to buy right now. But if I need to validate them, I might say, wow, okay, yeah, if I thought aliens were going to visit tomorrow night, I'd probably do things a little bit differently. So I totally appreciate that. And I'm glad that you're planning ahead. That's the type of people that I like to work with. You're taking this process seriously.
Yeah.
So I validated their reason that they're not a good lead. That's how I'll say it. They gave me a reason they're not a good lead. And I've made them feel heard and validated. Anybody who is married knows how to validate their spouse, or hopefully you do. If you haven't, you'll learn. It took me like 7 years, but I'm 15 years in now. So I feel like I got a handle on how to make my wife happy. So you validate them, and then I just want you to act like you care. And that sounds horrible. Okay. It sounds horrible to say, act like you care. And I could say a lot here, but probably what I'll say about that, Chris, is when someone tells me why they're not interested as a realtor, normally what realtors do is say, okay, no problem. Look, I don't want to bother you. Do you mind if I email you some listings and maybe check in next month? That's not care. That's, oh my gosh, they don't want to talk to me. I need to get off the phone.
Yeah.
And if I care about somebody enough to actually try, then you're caring. And I'm just going to call it out, man. Like, if you're self-conscious, you're focused on yourself.
Right.
And so if you're calling somebody and the whole time you're thinking, they don't want to talk to me, I sound stupid, they're going to think I don't know what I'm doing, I'm thinking about me the whole time.
You are.
And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to act like I care, and now I'm going to act like they need me.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to act like they need me because I'm the expert.
That's right.
And so I was on the huddle with my teams the other day, and I said, it's kind of like if I'm at the doctor and the doctor says you need to eat healthy and stop eating McDonald's, and I respond and say, well, no. The Big Mac has lettuce on it. I'm going to keep eating McDonald's.
Right.
Well, that's ridiculous. Well, why is it when the consumer tells us why they're not going to buy and they're not ready and they don't need me, do I just say, okay, I'm the expert. I know more than they do. Right. And so I'm going to act like the expert by using phrases like, well, in my professional opinion, based on what you've said, this is what you need to be doing.
Right.
And I'm telling you guys, with these Facebook Messenger contacts that Chris has been helping me to collect, and the Facebook leads I generate from, Ylopo and other sources, I'll tell you right now, when you drive the process, they're going to love it.
Yeah.
I bought a TV recently. Go to Best Buy. I looked for the nerdiest representative I could find, tell him what I wanted, and he geeked out for 45 minutes. Just features, connections, Wi-Fi, cut the cord, all this stuff. And I just was listening. And at the end, I said, so which one do you think I should buy? And he said, that one. I said, here's my card.
Yep.
We love that experience as a consumer. And yet as agents, unless the consumer knows exactly what they want and they're ready to go look at a home, it's a quote bad lead. And we're missing the boat. And I don't think this is a book me solid thing. I don't think it's a Ylopo thing. I think this is are you going to be relevant in 10 years?
Yeah.
Because in 10 years, Zillow and Realtor.com they're not going to be a brokerage in the traditional sense, but they're certainly going to be functioning like a lot of these relocation companies where you got to use their mortgage company, their title company. Anyway, I'm pontificating now. I'm just going on and on. Chris, have you found with the people that you work with closely, is this ringing true for you?
The ones that see that they actually have to talk to people.
Oh, I think you're muted. You're muted.
Am I? Can you hear me? Hello?
Did I mute you?
It doesn't say
It doesn't say you're muted. Do you know sign language?
No. Can you hear me?
Well, that's weird. It says, all right, try again.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, actually, I think that was my fault. I think everybody else could hear you, but I couldn't hear you. Sorry.
What I was going to say is basically the ones that kind of see it as a longer term strategy, basically this is planting a seed to figure out where they're at. And you do have to nurture them a little bit and show that you care. The ones that are like out to get it tomorrow, those are very rare, but at the same time, I've seen it happen. I've seen people totally get in the car this week or 3 days from now and go right around, but ultimately they're still looking for that house. At the end of the day, it's the market that reflects how fast you can close, Right.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We call those unicorns.
Right.
When you get a brand new lead that comes in and like, they're ready to go, like, okay, great. And they do happen. They come in, but you can't scale your business off of whether the consumer's ready or not, because now I'm dependent on chance.
Right.
And you can't scale off a chance. You have to have actionable, repeatable conversations so that day in and day out, you go to work, you do what you're supposed to do, and it's going to produce a certain amount of results. That's how you build a big business. And, Chris, using your service combined with the systems that I have, I've gone from an individual agent. In 7 years, I've gone from individual agent to team owner to 2 teams to 3 teams. And, and it just continues to grow because I've learned how to scale. And so, Chris, if somebody wants to reach out to you to find out more about Facebook marketing, ManyChat marketing, all that stuff, what's the best way to facilitate that?
Best way is just book a call with me. We'll do a discovery call. If you go to bookmesolid.com, I got an option to do that. Or you could just shoot me a message through Messenger if you got like a question. Either way works for me. What I was going to ask for everybody else, like ultimately you have systems and stuff. If you're a new agent starting out, what would you do as far as, with Messenger? Ultimately, you have 5 or 10 conversations coming in a day. How do you manage that if you don't have a system? How do you where would you start with that?
I mean, honestly, if you're a new agent, your hustle and to the degree that you can be obsessive about your business, I mean, that sounds horrible, but you gotta make sure you stay on it. You have the Facebook Messenger or the business app on your phone, and you turn on the notifications so that you're able to respond. And so, that's not necessarily a techie response. It's more of a, feet on the ground type of response.
Right.
But these conversations are like $1 each.
Well, what I'm saying is ultimately after we make a connection and we understand their needs, how would you remind yourself to follow up in 3 weeks? You know what I mean? Would you just go for Google Calendar or like use Trello and set a task, or like what would you do if you didn't have any kind of system in place?
Well, that's like asking me, what would you do if you're not human? Like, because I'm not the person that remembers anything. Okay. Right. And so if I don't have something to keep track of stuff, I will absolutely forget. Right. And so I would tell everybody, as far as generally speaking, as far as follow-up goes, use a spreadsheet. Just do some columns and just use that spreadsheet. Now, Amy, this is interesting because this is something I hear a lot. It seems like this service is for people who don't want to build their business on face-to-face connections. Instead, I'm trying to enhance the connections I have with the people in real life by extending my services to the online platforms. Alternatively, I love to have the service to connect with people in my community that I haven't yet had the opportunity to meet face-to-face. I'm not looking for anyone on Facebook. That makes a lot of sense. I know what I want to say, but Chris, is there anything you'd like to say to that?
I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I don't like having to hold a party, and I'm not saying this is what you're saying, Amy, but for me, I don't want to have to hold a party and then like meet a lot of people to build my business. That I don't know why, it just stresses me out. And so for me, what digital marketing has enabled me to do is to find a lot of people that want to talk to me about what I do for a living, which is help people buy and sell a real estate. And so what digital marketing enables me to do, again, is to focus on people that want to talk to me about the subject that I want to talk about, which is real estate. And so digital marketing facilitates the initial contact, and then it should lead to a phone/meeting in person, either at your office or at a house. And so I've been able to leverage digital marketing over the last decade to grow my database to this immense place, whereas I can only manage so many real relationships, real friendships, authentic type scenarios. And honestly, I think you should continue on the path you're on, Amy. Not that you need my encouragement, but you should continue to reach your sphere, be relevant to your sphere. But please don't trick yourself in being limited by your sphere. And that's the difference between an average, and I have no idea about your numbers, but to me, that's the difference between an average producer and a mega producer. Is the average producer stays limited by the human contacts they have. The mega producer says, I want to maintain and grow these human contacts. I'm going to be out in the community, but I also am going to find that additional 35 to 45% of contacts that are out there shopping online that probably don't want human contact. Like, I'm going to buy my car through Carvana. I don't want to deal with the car lot. Yep. I just want to use an app, and if I don't like the car, they can take it back after 7 days. That's a dream come true. And there's a lot of people that are like that. I just bought my life insurance through an app. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to deal with humans.
Right. Amazon's proof of that. Everybody.
Yes.
To some extent.
No, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. But, well, man, any parting words for those that are, watching? It looks like there was a couple comments on the Facebook. Well said, Chris, on the systems day-to-day over time. Renee says, people like to be led, lead them. And then Jeff had a question. Is this from your personal Facebook or business page? Do you have a chat agents that can jump in and keep the convo going? So this is from my business page, and I shared access to my business page with certain people. Would you recommend that, Chris, or how would you handle that?
Yeah, when you have people, absolutely. A lot of people, there is no people. It's just you. So if it's just you, I recommend set a specific time that you follow up with all of them, unless they're saying call me now. And if they're saying call me now, call them when you can. Like, they're not your boss. They understand that you can't just drop everything and go run into them. Like, you don't know them. You know what I mean? I'm not going to drop what I'm doing with my family to call some random stranger if I'm in family time right now. You know what I mean? Not everybody's like that. I see a lot of people just drop everything they're doing to chase the next person. It's not really for them if that's the case. The reason I latched on to Messenger, I know people are going to be there. And I know it's just like picking up a conversation with an old friend that, you know, I haven't seen in 10 years. We can pick it up anytime. Right. So it's relevant at any time. It's not like a phone call. Yeah, I might have clicked on that. Like, you can see what you did. You know, you're used to Messenger. You can scroll up and be like, yeah, I did that Thursday. Cool. I remember that.
No, that's huge. That's huge. That's huge. And just so you guys know, we did not plan on wearing the same color today, but you know, it just worked out. So Chris, thank you for, just diving in with all of us, myself included. I always come away learning a lot. You have a unique way of looking at digital marketing that I think, you know, I'm a testament to it, that honestly, if when you find somebody that looks at marketing a little bit differently, you tend to find an opportunity to be where others aren't, right? So if everybody's over here, you want to be over here. You don't want to have to compete with everybody else. And so I appreciate your time and sharing with the LCA community, man. It really means a lot. And guys, if you, this is, you know, he didn't ask me to do this, but if you have some time and you want to learn, do a discovery call. Go to bookmesolid.com, and Chris was happy to gush all over you with all kinds of nerdy stuff to build your business. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, Barry. Bye.